Hey everyone, welcome back. This episode is the long-awaited one where we talk about how we moved the boat from Corpus Christi to Clearwater. We have a special guest this time and we look at Barboncourt Rum. This is a long episode, but please stick around as it's a good one. Welcome back to the bar, everyone. We have a special guest, Wes from Texas, is on the line here on Zoom. Wes, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Yes, Wes, it's been a long time since I've talked to you, and it is great to chat with you. Thank you for joining us here. We're going to do something kind of special today. What was it, 5 or 6 years ago now? Wes was generous enough to put up with me for almost 8 days straight.
Eight grueling days.
Horror. As far as our wives concerned, they were terrible 8 days.
It was terrible, but I'll tell you what, you do make the best canned chicken salad sandwiches I've ever had.
Thank you, sir.
They were delicious.
Yes. So Wes and I, when I moved from Texas, I had my boat at Wes's Marina, Bahia Marina in Ingleside on the Bay, Texas. And when the company I worked for decided that I need to move to Tampa, I had to figure out how to get the boat over here. And talking to Wes, who owns the marina there, he and I brainstormed, came up with some ideas, and in the end, it was what it came out to be is it was like $15,000 to move my boat by truck, take the top off of it, the wing off of it, or whatever you call it, and then put it on the back of a truck and haul it over here. It was $10,000 to have a captain move it, or we figured it would be about $5,000 for me and some friends to sit on the boat and just drive. And Wes was kind enough to say, yeah, sure, I'll sit on a boat with you for 8 days.
You made the right decision.
Oh,
you could have gotten off cheaper. I mean, bologna and six packs go a long way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it was I didn't know what I was getting into, and we were. Wes's son had just finished his 50-ton, right?
Yeah. His captain's license.
His 50-ton license. So he was going to go with, and my thing was like, well, he's got a 50-ton license. He knows what he's doing. I'm just going to sit back and let him tell me what to do. And then I think it was he got into the fireman school, and so then it was like Wes is like, yeah, we got this.
Yeah. So I immediately had to start picking his brain, and going all the way back to now which one's port and which one's starboard, and then learn. He told us enough to not get killed.
Right. Yes. Exactly. It was. There was a lot of things on that trip that we're going to discuss that were like, I would have never even thought of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about. This is going to be broken up into 2 episodes because it was 8 days to New Orleans and then 8 days from New Orleans to Corpus Christi, where we're at now. And so we're going to break this up. The first episode, we're going to have Barboncourt Rum, and then the next one, you'll have to come back for the next one and figure that one out. Let's start this real quick with the rum, and then we can sip while we're discussing.
Sounds good.
So we've got Barboncourt here from Haiti.
Right.
It is it kind of started in 1862. Maze Barboncourt has produced the rum in Haiti. A couple of the cool things that I read on this particular company, family owned, but they also are very eco-responsible. Now, that's awesome because there's only, out of all the rums we've done, and this will be 16, 15, something like that. This is only the second one that has been eco-responsible, reusing the mash that they're done with. They reuse that. The water, they purify the water when they're done with it, so they're not just dumping it. And it's very forward thinking. Everything they
Right.
try to do, they try and circulate.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1998, Bourboncourt founded they're a proud Haiti heritage company. And
Right.
in 1998, they founded a cultural promotion group within Haiti.
Yeah, I think aren't they one of Haiti's largest corporations or organizations?
Yes. Yeah. I always kill these. This is I think one of the first ones that's been French. All the other ones, which by the way, God bless you, Google Translate, for just taking that web page and going, here's English. Because I was like, I'm bad at Spanish. I was really bad at French.
So the guy who founded the company was from France and went over to Haiti. And was it from the Cognac region?
Yep.
So he was trying to make a rum that was at the same quality as cognac would be.
Right.
And so went down there, and it from the research that I had done on it, I think that they have basically kept the same recipe forever, which is different than a lot of the Caribbean rums, because instead of using molasses, which is what most of the Caribbean rums are based off of, they actually use fermented sugarcane juice.
I mean, it's the cane. We were talking about this a couple, I think an episode ago, where there's, some of them use the molasses, some of them use, the sugar cane. And then recently we started hearing about cane juice. And I think that's what they're really referencing, is that basically, I think what they do is they soak it and then they just squeeze the juice out of it. And that's,
Yeah. Well, I mean, sugar cane's full of sugary water.
Right.
And they, when I was a kid, my dad he grew up in Mississippi, and he would always bring, get these big stocks of sugar cane. But yeah, they just squeeze the crap out of it, and, all this juice comes out. But instead of making it molasses, then, they just let it ferment,
right.
as it is.
And I would think that would be, I guess, more, I mean, the molasses, right? You're just boiling sugar to get molasses.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're going to use the I mean, and so I think if you're using if you're going to use the actual cane juice, it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be a lighter, and it's going to be, I would think, a little smoother tasting, right? I mean, I would expect it to be.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've never, I've drunk Barboncourt for
Drunk's coming.
For a long time, and I don't ever mix it with anything. It's not what I would consider a mixing rum. It's really a sipping rum. Usually I just put it on the rocks, and it's a very it's very smooth.
It's 150 years old. Maison Barboncourt has passed its unique unknown unique know-how, for generations and generations, within the family kind of thing. So that's, that's like I said, I'm a fan of the smaller distillers. Granted, this is a big distiller, or a larger distiller.
Right.
But the fact that they're keeping it in the family kind of makes it, So with that, I don't want to go into, this is the part where we've just started like hiding the notes, because we don't want to go into the notes and the flavors and all that stuff until we see what we got.
Nice.
So, all right, let's open this up.
All right.
Let's see here.
Yeah, you got to see this color.
Yeah, that is very, let me show this up here. Oh, that is like honey.
Yeah, it is. It's the color of honey.
Wow. Ooh.
Good nose hit.
Oh, that is very nice. Ooh, so I smell like fruits, and I think I do smell like a little bit of vanilla in there.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, that is pretty looking though, man.
It is it's a beautiful color. A little bit oak flavor. I think that they age it in white oak, and so it's it's definitely, it's not the kind of rum that probably most people are used to.
No, that smells fantastic.
You got the 8-year, right?
Yeah, that's what I told her. Yeah, 8-year. Yep.
5 stars, and because they have a couple of different levels, but I think this one is my favorite.
This is really good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sip this, and I'm gonna ask Liz to grab that piece of paper for me. Oh, that's nice.
Are you familiar with ice rocks?
Recently, I'm familiar with them.
Okay. Yeah. Because they make it, super cold, but they don't dilute it.
Yeah.
And so, Taylor got me a set. I need to go get them. And
now I know that you just freeze them in. Okay.
Yeah. It's just like having a cocktail on the rocks, but it doesn't dilute your, liquor. So, would you try it again?
Yeah, actually, what I'm thinking on my is you could almost make this is smooth enough and has really nice flavor to it. You could make a pretty good like a rum old fashioned with this.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I think any whiskey drink would be pretty good with this too.
Let's see how close we were.
It's not burn.
No burn at all. No, it is really smooth. I can't get over that color. That color is amazing. I hope it comes off okay on camera, but that color is really nice.
It is. It's like a light honey.
Yes. It's like a very thinned out honey. So what they say here is I don't know what green undertones would mean, but it says it has green undertones. But let's see, a bouquet of vanilla and pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I tasted pepper. Yeah, I don't know if I tasted pepper. Definitely if I tasted vanilla, or smell vanilla, sorry. The palate, about a powerful, smooth, well balanced. The fruits, citrus fruit, and I think that's a French word, but something orange jam. So I would guess that's probably, I guess that's probably, I mean, I smell like the vanilla, and then it does taste, it's very smooth. So I'm guessing they get the smoothness out of, the citrus fruit and the some of the, it says cooked fruit prunes, like prunes. Yeah. So,
That's, it's very good.
Yeah, I like that. Barboncourt, that's very good. Like I said, they're giving back to the community. They sponsor youth sports and education and things like that in Haiti. So I mean, bravo.
I like to support them just because Haiti's got a lot of other issues on it, and to be able to support a company there that's turning around and supporting the country is kind of cool, I think.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they've got, they're, as being where you are in Texas and the hurricanes that have come your way, I mean, as bad as you've had it, they've had it even worse. So, I mean, so the fact that this is, it's another company that's trying to support the their community, if you will. I mean, these islands are not that big. So if you say community, you're pretty much, you're there. I mean,
island. Yeah.
So that's that's pretty cool. So speaking of community and islands, let's get on this cruise in here. So,
absolutely.
So it was, correct me if I'm wrong, November 15th or 9th or something like that. We decided to head out.
Was it that early? I thought it was maybe all the way into December. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, it was. So I went back. We ended up going back or splitting our way right around Thanksgiving.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So I think it was had to be around the 15th or so that we went, or 19th or something like that. We left. Yeah. Actually, I think it was the 19th. So we left. This trip again was Wes, myself, and a friend of mine, Brian, was the stand-in for Wes's son, and Brian was, like myself, a Midwestern lake boat driver. So this was all kind of like, yeah, all right, what's the worst that could happen, right?
Well, and it was just like a Midwestern lake, only it was on the Gulf of Mexico and saltwater. But other than that, you know.
And the waves were horrible, but we'll get to that one in a minute.
Oh my gosh. That's all right. It was fun.
So starting out, what I remember, the initial excitement was when we got past Rockport.
Oh, wait. But first, before we even left the marina.
Yes.
Annie from Annie's Bait Shop.
Yes.
Now brought by homemade tacos.
That's right. That's right.
Homemade breakfast tacos.
Yes.
And A, they were delicious, and B, I think we were glad we had them maybe a day or two later also.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah, we didn't, it's not like we left at the crack of dawn, but.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Wait, I think we were going to.
Yeah.
And there was some reason that we didn't get off as early as we wanted to.
We were waiting for something.
Other than Annie's Tacos.
Yes, but we were waiting for something. We needed something to happen before we could go, so I don't think we left until probably 9.
Right.
And so, but which was fine because we got Annie's Tacos, and like you said, we were glad we got them because that was our highlight meal. Well, no, there was one other one that just popped in my head.
The burgers?
We're in Louisiana, but we'll get to that in a second. All right, so 9 o'clock, we got Annie's Tacos, and we left. And I have to say, like, I had goosebumps and jitters and all that stuff, but, like, the excitement kicked in once we got past Rockport because that was the farthest I had gotten.
Right.
I don't know if you remember me saying, you're like, okay, this is the unknown. I don't know where this is farther than I've ever gone.
Well, and that was it for all of us too. I mean, I had never gone farther than Rockport, in the inner, coastal waterway at all. And, we had electronics out the wazoo, right?
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm bringing it up so we can get it. Yeah.
We had your phone, we had my phone, we had your tablet,
We had the chart plotter, the Raymarine chart plotter from 1998. So
yeah. By then, probably a few islands had even moved. But.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so it was a little sketchy back then, but yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. The first day, and you'll have to help me because I remember this is the first day, but we were sitting and relaxing and we were going through, I think it was the San Antonio Bay or San Antonio or north of Rockport. What is that called? Yeah, San Antonio Bay.
Right. Yeah.
So remember we came out and I think you were behind the helm and it was fairly rocky because I remember looking at Brian sitting across from me on the boat and 1 minute he was eye level and the next minute he was below me. It wasn't horrible. Like it wasn't like seasick, but it was just like, oh wow, we're really moving around. And,
I was amazed that I don't think anyone got seasick unless they were hiding. I didn't get seasick and I didn't think that you or Brian did either. So that's always a plus, not throwing up.
No, I don't think there was any time I got seasick. And that was partially, I think, because when we had bad weather, my adrenaline took over, right? And so it didn't matter. And then when we didn't have bad weather, it was flat as flat could be.
Yeah.
And so, that first day we opened up in the San Antonio Bay and we were cruising along and I just remember the three of us were chatting. You were here and Brian was in front of me. We were just chatting. I'm seeing him go up and down. And then all of a sudden this guy in the tanker truck, do you remember this?
No, what? I'm trying
to think. He goes, hey, Cap. He goes, hey, Pleasure Craft, this is so-and-so on, whatever,
Oh yeah. He was coming out.
Yeah, he was coming out, and he's like, hey, I don't know, you might want to hang back because I'm pushing a 6-foot wake off my port side, and da-da-da. And we're just kind of like, what? Oh, all right. Oh yeah, I see him, and he was way out there.
Yeah.
And then we got the binoculars out, and it looked like there was a tidal wave on his. And we were all like, "Yes, sir."
Yeah. We'll just do a few, figure eights, and wait for this guy to get past.
Right. Yeah. But it was weird. He was throwing it only on his port side, not his.
Well, yeah, but you know what the deal is? They've cut a channel, and he's down in that channel. And he's pushing all the water up onto the relatively flat part of the ocean.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's why it's, he was probably had it on the other side too, but we were on his port side. So, he knew that we were going to get it. But,
yeah, we were.
But yeah, one of the cool things that I found out is that the ship captains and the tugboat captains were pretty awesome.
Yes.
If you just, get on the radio and what I guess someone said, call them by the boat name, because we had what is that, the app that identifies the boat and,
Oh, the AIS app. We had
we had the AIS. So it's someone was saying, go on there, call them by their boat name. Yeah. And that's all you have to do. And then, they take it from there, and, they can, probably tell, who's a little more seasoned than others. And
oh yeah,
they're kind of like guardian angels looking after us.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because I think it was you. I think you said it. The thing we had to remember was like, this is their highway where they're making money, right? And we're kind of in their way, so we kind of have to keep that in mind. Of like, yeah, all right, we'll respect that you're making money here, and we're just like these little gnats that are getting your way.
yeah, we're the gnats.
Yep. And so that was also the other part too that we had to get used to, is that whole pass you on your ones and twos, right?
Right.
That was like, I had to keep going, wait, what is one again? And if I'm coming on is it his one, or am I telling him my twos? And so for the viewers out there, ones and twos. The one is, back in the old days, it was and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it was the ding of the bell or the honk of the horn.
Right. Yeah. One bell or two bells.
Yes.
And so one ones and the twos now.
Right. And the one bell was the port side, and the two was the starboard side. And a good way to remember that is port has one syllable, or one syllable, and then starboard has two. So it's kind of get your mind thinking that way. And then so what you did is, as you were coming up behind or coming, you had someone coming towards you, you would call out and basically say, this is pleasure craft so-and-so, pass you on your one, captain, and then, call out his boat or whatever, and let him know that, hey, I'm going to pass you on which side he should expect you.
Right.
And that, like Wes said, that was a courteous thing you do, because, in the San Antonio Bay, it's a big wide bay, and you can't really tell when two objects are coming at each other. You can't really tell which way you're going to go. So it's better to give him knowledge way off in the distance, so that you're not like trying to figure it out, and he's going in, and then you're going in, and he's going out. And then at the same time, he can expect you, especially at night or whatever. He can scoot over a little bit, let you go by, and then scoot back where he's comfortable. And
and especially in the narrower parts, he might say, "No, Captain, you might not want to pass me on the twos. There's a bend coming up. You need to wait, or you need to do this or that." And and
that did happen a couple times.
It was huge education,
right
off the bat. It's like going, just what is it, baptism by fire?
Yeah.
You're in there. It's like, okay, they could crush us.
Yeah. Yes, they can.
Let's listen to them.
Yeah, right. Because and when we're talking about tugs, for the audience, when we're talking about like this one small tugboat, that's probably, in actual size, it's probably only 4 to 8, or I don't know, 4 to 6 times larger than we are in the boat size. But the problem is that tug is actually pushing anywhere from 2 to 6 to 8 barges in front of it, and when Wes is talking about like when he's scooting over, it's not like he's just pulling over to the side of the road. I mean, that is a process for him to slide over one way and us come by, and then for him to come back. Right. And so he also has to know, all right, I'm pushing this thing that's 4 football fields long. Am I going to be able to get over and get back before this bend up here? Nope. So, he's going to tell us to slow down. Nope, don't do it. You're not going to make it. So, or it's not so much that you're not going to make it. It's that he's not going to make it. Therefore, you're not going to make it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, all right. So we made it past the 6-foot tidal wave, and it started to get dark, and we came up to, I'm trying. It was basically like a traffic jam, right? I mean, it was.
Well, because there had been flooding, and
yes,
they had not allowed any traffic to go through the floodgates getting on and off the river, and so they had just opened it up, I think, that day, and when there was so much debris coming. What's the river?
Yes. Okay. So here it is. Because the first place, let's see here, the first place we stopped was a marina. Remember, we remember that was also where we hit ground, or I hit the tail end of the boat swung around, and we ended up hitting one of those stupid things and denting, put about a thumb size dent in the prop.
You went swimming that night, right?
So disgusting.
The next day?
That night, because I was worried about that prop.
To assess the damage.
Yep, and I jumped into that absolutely disgusting water.
It was the nastiest water I've ever seen. Do you remember how stained the boat was at the end of the trip? It was
the Colorado River.
Okay.
So it was the Colorado River, and that's right. And we stayed at Matagorda.
Yes, Matagorda, yeah.
At Matagorda. So, yeah, all right. So we stayed at Matagorda, and remember, it was pitch black, and there was barge lights everywhere, and we couldn't figure out where to go, and no one was really talking to us. And so we were like, all right, we're just going to go this way, because here we are. Like you said, there was logs and crap coming down the river, and we busted through there in a hurry because they basically like let us fly through there.
Right, before the barges started.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, come on up here, let's go, da, da, da. And he let us fly through, and then when we got to the other side, it was basically the traffic jam the other way, pointing right at us with their lights blasting us right in the face.
Right.
And so we ended up sliding over too far to the port side, or too far inland, and we clipped the propeller. It didn't do much of anything other than scare everybody, but then we went into the Matagorda Marina there, and I jumped in that water, and it was the grossest water I've ever jumped into, and I had one of those flashlights. But that was day one. We woke up.
Your underwater flashlight.
Yeah, I still have those. Those things are great for like $8. They work great. When they don't work great, you throw them away and get a new one.
Yeah.
But so then that day we got gas there, because this whole trip was basically to the next gas station, Jeeves.
Right. Right. But you did have the reserve tanks.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
With the battery, remember the battery-powered transfer pumps, so that we wouldn't blow ourselves up?
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Because they were like two 40-gallon auxiliary tanks.
No, they were two 14-gallon.
14. Okay, I thought they were.
And then I had, was it 5 of the 5-gallon jerry cans?
Yeah.
So
we looked like we were running something.
Yes, it did. We made it all the way to Matagorda, and then the next day, I remember the next day being pretty interesting, where we were going through. I mean, we were still in Texas at this time, and we're going through, and this is where, I don't know if you remember, when we saw that bridge that turned. It was almost at our eye level, and as we came towards it, it turned to open for us, and I was just like, that is the coolest thing ever. I mean, there wasn't a whole bunch of houses on the what would be the barrier island or whatever, right. but there was enough that they built this bridge that just pivoted, and it was pretty neat to see that.
It was cool. It was cool.
But it was that was a part of very much a part of Texas that I'd never seen, and so that's a lot of what this trip I thought was about, was how we got to see these parts of the country that most people aren't going to see, because it's not like there's a highway going through there. I mean,
no, right. I mean, some of the most gorgeous scenery too. You know, with there were still, you know, a lot of birds, you know, that were out on. I mean, it's hard to describe, but it's kind of a coastal plain almost with this waterway cut through it, and desolate. You know, a lot of it looked like it had never been set foot on before. And here we are, getting to run a boat through it. It was so cool.
Very nice. So yeah, it was. I mean, like you said, it was a plain. It was like the the open plain, and then the next river that you were talking about, where I'm trying to remember what we had. I think you had the pole.
I had the boat hook.
Yeah, the boat hook, and then
I'm laying down on my belly hanging over the bow, and there's logs coming in, and I'm trying to we're just inching across, and it's like pushing those things out of the way so we can get the boat through.
Yeah, but do you remember when we first came up to that lock, or that whatever, the wall, the the flood wall or whatever?
Uh-huh.
It was like this turning pool of it was disgusting. I mean, and the guy was just like, yeah, sorry, not your time, just wait. And I just felt like we were like churning in this toilet bowl of, we
were constantly having to kind of maneuver the boat just to keep it, banging up against the barge or up against, the shoreline.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy. I mean, none of us really knew what to expect on that at all. We were just, between the barge traffic and how to deal with each of the drawbridge tenders and things like that, or the floodgate tenders.
Yeah, and that was the Brazos River on that one.
The Brazos, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, and so we made it through there, and that was that was pretty that was pretty high anxiety at that point. There was speaking of that, okay, so we're on day 2 here, and there was a couple hairy spots there, right? And none of us really drank.
No, we didn't ever.
I don't remember ever anybody having a drink. Even like, we're parked and we're, relaxing for a minute. It was like, no. So, all right, so after that, I'm trying to remember the next stop. Is this the one where we just pulled off in the middle of nowhere and anchored?
I think so. Yeah, it was what they call an oxbow, natural curve, and there was no place to stay. I mean, nowhere to stay, and you can't just anchor, in the intercoastal waterway, because you're likely to get dragged out by a tug. And so, we were looking for places, and I think someone at one of the places that we stopped either for fuel or that first or second night said, look for this, you can go in there, it's safe, there won't be any traffic. And pitch black. I mean, pitch black.
Yes.
And for people out there who don't do boats that much, boats don't have like headlights like cars. They've got a little blue and a little red light up front that basically, warn other people that you're coming, but there is no light. We've got kind of some spotlights and stuff, but you're really, praying that there's no piece of floating something that your GPS isn't going to tell you about, that, you're just going to have to kind of creep in there.
Yes. And so, yeah, I can't remember if it was that night. So did we make it to Galveston in 2 days or 3?
We made it to Galveston, I think it was 2 days.
Okay, so we stopped in Matagorda, and then the second day we stopped in Galveston. Okay, yeah. And we stayed at. Oh,
that was the coolest place.
It was cool.
I felt fancy.
Yes, I'm not gonna say the name, but it was the same place that Liz and I went to for our wedding, where we stayed at our wedding in Galveston. And it was a very nice hotel, and I will say it was a very, very nice, like Wes said, we felt, what was there, 2 or 3 110-foot yachts? I mean, these things are enormous.
Yeah.
we were very under, but I will say, I was a little upset because most places when you go for one night or whatever on a boat, it's $2 a foot. So you're in and out of there, no big deal. This place was like, man, I think if I remember right, I mean, $2 for a foot for the boat we were on is $80. I would think I paid almost $200 for a night.
Sorry, I didn't know I would have pitched in.
No, but it was $200, and it was absolutely the most expensive gas I paid on the entire loop all the way around.
Yeah, it was well over $4, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was $4.50 a gallon.
Yeah.
And I felt like Chevy Chase on vacation. Why don't you just take me out back and steal my wallet? So, but it was nice, and the scenery was nice, and we got some good food there, and
great dinner. Yeah.
So then the next morning we woke up and
wait, here I got a quick question.
Yeah.
I've wondered ever since. How did I wind up getting the V berth?
I don't know.
Because I was so much older than everybody else.
But you're not that old.
I know. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved being up there, but I was like, man, it's your boat. You should have the captain's suite, but it was awesome.
But you guys, I mean, so that's the thing, right? I saw you guys were doing me such a huge favor that, I mean, like, I'd have given you the inside and slept outside just to, thanks, guys, I'm super, but, that reminds me, remember, what was it, like, day 2 or day 3, Brian broke the bed? And I was like, sorry, I don't know, because these beds made out to be a little bit bigger than twin beds, somewhere between a twin and a queen. Right. And I don't know if that'd be a full or what, but it's a decent sized bed. But if you break it like Brian did, you're basically sleeping on a couch because it shrinks it in half. And so I don't think he was very comfortable after that. But I mean, like, we didn't have wood or screws or, we didn't have anything to fix it. So we're like, sorry. So we woke up the next morning, and I'll never forget this. And we looked out the window, and we were just like, ugh. And it just like, sucked it right out of me because it was rainy and it was so foggy when you could barely see outside the marina. It was horrible. Yeah. And I was literally like kind of looking at Wes and Brian going, okay, guys, what do you want to do? And I mean, it was the thought was like, okay, well, if we just get out of Galveston, Houston Bay area and got out of here, then maybe, the fog would be gone and we could get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you get out, I get out of the way, it's that morning sea fog of burn off. Right.
Yeah.
So we gassed up and we headed out, and I'm trying to remember, I think you were at the helm, right?
Yeah.
Remember when we got out of the marina, and I almost said the name of the marina, we got out of the marina and we turned and we went under that bridge. Yeah. It started raining and we're like, really? And I had, at the time, I kind of had a crappy Bimini, so it leaked everywhere. It was basically like a holy umbrella. And
yeah, and I think that's probably why I was at the helm, because it was in the middle, so I wasn't getting wet.
Yeah, the back half of that thing never leaked. It was always the front. And so we made it around the corner, and the rain hit, and we were like, ah. And then we're out, like, if you look at Galveston Bay, it's this big, huge open, and we got all the way out to the middle of it, and then lightning.
Yeah.
And we're just like, come on.
Yeah, what do we do now?
Yeah. It wasn't a lot of lightning. I just remember it was like one thunderclap way off in the distance.
Yeah, it was far. Like, it was far off. It was far off.
Yeah, it was like, oh, come on. And so then we kept going, and then it was, we're basically like, I'm looking one way and Brian's looking the other way, and we're just looking for boats everywhere, boats. And it was because like the visibility was, what do you say, 300 feet maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
I remember when we were watching our, like we all had the chart plotters going, and when we got close to the channel, it was, okay, look. And I remember when we got close to that channel, there was one coming, and we had to like get up out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here's to your captaining on that one, because I was very nervous about going through there.
Well, I mean, it was I think we were all really nervous, and none of us wanted to admit it to any of the others.
Are you fine? Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, John, is Brian crazy? And Brian said, John, is Wes crazy?
Yeah, we're all in the circle. I don't know, somebody's crazy. So then we made it through, and we got to the other side, and the other side was just a channel. Again, we're back in the channel, and it was smooth sailing, other than the rain and the clouds and stuff. But it's fairly smooth sailing all the way until Port Arthur, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what that? Yeah, Port Arthur.
Yeah.
And our first, this isn't good, should have been when remember we came out and we were like, do we turn right or do we turn left to get into Port Arthur? And we turned right, because if we went left, it would take us past the marina, and then we'd have to come back into it.
Back in, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so we all decided to go right and then head up, because it was going to be shorter. Unbeknownst to us, when we went right and we came out into Port Arthur, or the Port Arthur Bay or whatever, it was just 6-foot waves there. We were just getting crushed, right?
Yes.
And I was gonna say, do you remember the Coast Guard?
No, I don't remember.
And this was the first, this isn't a good place for us to be. So there was a Coast Guard little runabout boat. He went and rescued somebody, and he was taking them into shore, and this guy was out in a kayak.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I remember that.
I remember the three of us looking at each other going, are you insane? We're on a 40-foot boat, and this is not fun. Like a kayak, what, do you just ride in the waves up and down?
I remember that now, yeah.
This is where I think things got a little rough for us, because we were fighting these waves, and I don't know what we were thinking, but the wind was blowing so hard.
Was that when that tore the bimini or the isinglass?
Yeah, it ripped the whole front of the isinglass in. And I was like, I don't know why, I convinced Brian to go up there and try and hold it up. I don't know what we were going to do. And so, we were, rocking all over the place, trying to hold it up. I remember smacking my arm on the actual glass down below. Yeah. I remember at one point in time, we rocked, and Brian had the back half of Brian went out the side of the window. Yeah. And then came back in, and then that's kind of, we went like, okay, and we just dropped it, and we're like, all right, we're just gonna ride this thing out. And you were at the helm, and I was sitting in front of you, and I wedged my foot on each side of the opening and just kind of rode it. And it was,
I think it was freezing cold too.
Yes.
The wind. It was so cold, because you wanted that glass to be up so bad, but it just couldn't be. And it's like,
maybe that's what it was. We were trying to hold that glass up just so it wouldn't be so cold, but man, it sucked. We made it to Port Arthur, and we made it to this marina that friends of ours recommended. I think she was actually staying there at the time. Judy recommended us staying there, and good honor too, because there were some people at that marina that really, they just took us in, right?
Well, yeah, they happened to be having, the night that we pull in, they happen to be I guess maybe every Friday night they do some kind of, yacht club buffet or something.
Right.
It's the little local, yacht club or sailing club.
Yeah.
And, they had a little clubhouse, and they were having a buffet, and, they invited us in to eat. And I think one of them said to me, how many canned chicken sandwiches have you eaten? No, I didn't.
You said not enough. No.
Exactly. Not enough. Yeah. We must have looked hungry. They invited us in. It was awesome. And then the next day.
Yes. Oh yeah.
You remember they took you guys. I think I stayed behind.
Yeah.
They took you and Brian in their car to a hardware store.
Yeah.
To get the stuff to fix the torn isinglass and bimini, and then stayed there and helped us repair it.
So
It was the nicest group of people. I mean,
they took us to, I think, 2 different stores and like a Harbor Freight and a Northern Tool or something like that. And so what we did was I had the idea of taking a rivet and washers and drilling a hole through this canvas, putting washers on the outside and riveting it in. And I want to tell you that lasted over 5 years. So I just recently had that replaced, and the guy that replaced it looked at it and went, "All right, I see that." Like he was.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah, but you know what? That was after we did that. That was the most sturdiest part of that Bimini. After that, I mean, it was rock solid. So yeah, I mean, that was. I think we put probably 5 on each side, and it didn't tear. It did. I mean, it was nice, and so yeah. And so yeah, we left there. I think we left there later that night or later that afternoon, right?
Right.
And I think this is when we stayed in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the next night.
Yeah, because we left there in the evening after we fixed that. I mean, I think we left probably 1 or 2.
Yeah, we got a late start. It was later than we wanted to get away, but yeah, we had to keep going.
Right, but it was nice. That was the thing, is it was nice out. I mean, it wasn't like, crappy weather. And this is when I remember we went up and we realized, oh, we could have just gone right here and we would have been right there. And but yeah, we kept going. We got back into the channel, and after that it was just like this is where we hit that one stretch of channel where we could have literally set the autopilot and walked away for 20 minutes, and it literally was just straight on, straight as an arrow for miles and miles.
There was no traffic on it either.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's so then we stayed at that. Yeah, that was just pure dark, black as all get out. You could see every star in the sky. I mean, for the viewers, it was so dark. We parked and didn't realize there was 2 other yachts right down from us until we had parked and shut our engines off, and we were like, "Oh, were you?" No, I think it was Brian who said, "You hear that noise? Where's that coming from?"
Yeah. It was a generator from one of the other boats. Yeah. It was so cool in there, though. It was so cool.
Yeah, it was very nice.
I think I stayed. I may have woken up a couple times thinking, it's so dark in here. If someone else comes in, they could, if they're not paying attention, they could easily slam us. But it was, I don't, maybe a couple of more boats came in that night. But I think it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when we got there. It was pretty late.
It was late, yeah. We were all really, I remember us all just being like super tired. And that was the first place I had ever anchored. So all I'd ever heard about is, your anchor slipping and you're, hitting the land and all that. So I must have woke up at least a dozen times that night and just got the worst night's sleep because that's all I could think about.
Yeah. Did you ever go out and check?
Yeah, I did.
Those of us who slept appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. So here's something I don't know that we told you about, but one of the times I went out, Brian woke up to it. One of the times we went out, and it definitely sounded like our neighbors, the closest neighbors, were having some very good fun outside under the stars.
Oh, well, hey, more power to them.
Good on them, right? So then we left there, and I remember we kind of like did one of these things with that yacht for a while where we would pass them, they would pass us, and it was a very nice boat they had. If I remember, it was definitely a good 5 to 10 feet larger than we were, and it had diesels because I remember, you can get, there's a distinct odor from a diesel. But,
yeah. That was one of the things I remembered about the trip was just seeing all the cool and unusual boats and different types of barges and stuff, and that was fascinating for me. I probably took, Taylor had been really interested in being a tug captain, and I was taking pictures of tugs and barges.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I probably had 100 pictures of just all different kinds of, because different areas have different tugs for different purposes, and some of them are longer, some of them have a lot more crew quarters, some of them are teeny tiny. It was just really fascinating to me.
Yeah. So that day we left. I remember we stopped for lunch. The next couple of days were kind of a blur, but I remember like we stopped for lunch and we got gas at that place where they had, instead of like bumpers or whatever on the wall, they just had tires.
Yeah.
And it scuffed the crap out of the side of the boat. And
you always wanted a black hole, right?
Yeah, right. When we left there, the side of the looked like a NASCAR race wall with the circles and all,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I remember we went and got that dinner, or that plates to go or whatever, the chicken and.
Oh yeah.
That was that place there. There was a that place.
That's all there was. It was a marina, and then it's a grocery store that had plates to go.
Yeah, you go to the back of it, and there was a guy there handing out food, and it was
it was awesome. It was good food.
Yeah. So we left there, and we're making our way. And the next interesting place I think was that bridge, where we're coming up, if you will. So in some of these bridges that we came up on, we had to look at the traffic that was coming towards us to see if we could sneak through, because the bridge at the canal level or at the channel level was very narrow.
Right.
Especially when you're talking about like some of these barges had like they were 2 barges wide coming through there.
3 barges wide sometimes.
Yeah. And if you remember, we came up there and we just kind of called ahead and said, hey, can we come by? Because it kind of bent around the end. Right. And he said, what did he say? There was 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that barges behind him. We might want to hang out.
Yeah.
So this is the other like have a heart attack moment. So here we are, we've got the chart plotter running and other electronics running, and we're sitting here bobbing. And when we say that, for the viewers, what we say that is you basically go forward for a little bit, stop, go in reverse a little bit, because in a boat you kind of want to always be moving so that you can maintain control over it.
Right. And there's current too that you have to do the whole time.
Well, there's current, and then as the tugs go by, they suck you over. So you're basically kind of going to do one of these. They come by, they say. So we did this front back for 20 minutes? Yeah,
probably at least.
And then suddenly, because like I said, we had all these electronics running, the alternators on the engine wasn't enough, and the engines died. And so here we are, this barge is coming at us, and we're slowly floating towards it. And I can't get it started. I just instantly clicked in my head, run downstairs and get the extra anchor and throw it. So I went to the back, grabbed the anchor, went to the bow and threw it as hard as I could to shore, and then just kind of roped it off to stop us from going any closer to the barge. And then ran downstairs and turned on the generator to charge the batteries so we could start the engines.
Well, that was, I think one of our problems on the whole trip was that your generator was so quiet.
Yes.
That you never knew when it stopped running.
Right. Yes.
And so, when it's not running, it's not charging the batteries.
Right.
So.
Well, but at the same time, what I learned is those batteries that were in there, even though I bought that thing to check them and to make sure that they could hold charge, they were bad batteries. And so what happened is that basically we were okay as long as the alternator on the engines was putting on more power to the battery than we were drawing out. Right. But we had the radar going and the chart plotter and all that, and
we were having to go at idle speed so much.
Yeah, and it was just not keeping up, and so so we lost power. I had to get it. So that was scary because if we wouldn't have stopped ourselves,
it was scary in a good way.
Yeah, Yes, dear. There's nothing to worry about. We had it under control the whole time. But yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where this is the first of two incidents with barges where I was like looking at you and Brian going, that thing could run us over and not even know it. Like, it's a bail ship kind of moment. So we got past that. We pulled up the anchor. I'm trying to remember, but I think the next one was our first lock in the middle of the night. And I was excited because this is.
I was too.
This was another one of those like check off your bucket list, but at the same time, one of those times where we were just like, we didn't know what to do. It was, I think it was you that like must have got it from your son. That was like, okay, you call the lockmaster and announce yourself and he'll let you in. But I think I would have much rather done it during the day than pitch black at night. But it was pretty interesting, and we got right in and
well, and you're kind of holding on to the side of the wall while the water's going up and going down, and it's just really creepy.
Yeah, it is very surreal where you're sitting there like holding onto a wall in the water and the wall is going down. You're like, this
is having to retie.
Yeah, this is weird. So yeah, I mean, and when you go in and the water goes up and suddenly you go out and you're like, wait a minute, you're telling me now I'm still in the same body of water, but I'm now 5 feet higher than I was before? Like, this is
crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So yeah, we made it through there. We made it all the way to New Orleans that night. Is that right?
Did we go all the way to New Orleans? Because that was the experience crossing the Mississippi River. Are we ready to go there?
Man, I'm trying to remember. I think it was. I think
I think it was.
Yeah, I think
because they definitely had. I mean, that last lock going on in the Mississippi, it was like 20 feet.
Yeah. Well, so I'm trying to remember because so we did that first lock, and I'm trying to remember. Did we stop anywhere before then?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think we hit that lock. So, because remember, there was the one lock we hit, and then we went a little ways longer, and then there was the bridge master, and because remember the lock to get into the Mississippi, the bridge master wouldn't open the bridge until you call him separately.
Right.
Even though they are literally 20 feet from each other.
No, I know.
Yeah,
but they're also, remember they had the river control, like like airport, the air traffic control.
Yeah,
they had river traffic control, and you weren't supposed to go on the Mississippi until you called them.
Yes.
And all the we're reading all the special notes in the charts. It says, whatever you do, call river traffic control. And I remember we got on the river. It's like, crap, we didn't call river traffic control.
Right.
But we could hear the other tugboats. Yeah, river traffic control. There's a pleasure craft coming up.
Yeah, my pleasure craft coming your way. And then so then we did. But you remember we did. And then I started hearing them announce us. They're like, where are you going? And we told them where we were headed. And then you could hear them announce us to the other giant ships along the way. Right. And it's like, wow, like that is pretty, but I do remember that the tugboat go, traffic control, there's a white pleasure craft coming in the bay right now, like, oh, that's us.
But I'll tell you what, going on to the Mississippi River was like, I think one of the highlights of my nautical life, You're going on there, I mean, it's pitch black, but there's lights everywhere, and you got, the bridges crossing and the reflections off the water, and there's, there were probably 30 or 40 barges and tugs just in the water, Ships. I mean, it's so wide there. And, it was just, I'd never been, in any kind of thing like that in the water at all. It was just, it was so cool. And it's like, it was like you're living in a postcard.
Right.
Of what the Mississippi in the middle of New Orleans looks like at night. Yeah,
because I remember when we cruised by some of the downtown places, we eat the giant bridges over top, and you go under, and you're cruising right by some of the hot places in New Orleans, and you got to see that from the water, which most people don't get to see. So that was pretty neat. I was very happy with that, but unfortunately, that did lead us into a little hazard area.
Well, yeah. We were heading to the industrial canal.
Yep.
And we're going across, so we had to do a lot of idling. I remember before we even got into the lock to get onto the Mississippi.
Right.
Unbeknownst to us, the batteries are slowly discharging.
Yes.
And we're about to go on the Mississippi River and cross in the middle of the night with all this traffic with freaking dead batteries.
Yes.
Ultimately, we lost one engine, right?
Yep.
We limped in on one.
So now we have low sucky batteries that are only being charged by one alternator. And we made it past, I don't remember that big Navy ship that was like stuck on the side of there. And then we made it down, and then we had to wait for the train bridge to lift.
Right.
So we're bobbing one engine until Bubba could open up the train bridge. And then when he opened up the train bridge, we made it just under the train bridge, and then we lost power and we were dead in the water.
We coasted, and there was an old crapped out rusty barge on the left side of the channel.
Yes.
And how did we even get over to that? Did we?
Remember, we used the anchor. We threw the anchor out and pulled ourselves closer.
Oh, yeah.
And we used the anchor to throw it and pull ourselves closer until you could grab it, and then you grabbed onto it, and we tied ourselves up to it.
Yeah.
And then it was like, do we want to sit here? I mean, like, eventually, I think it was Brian or you said, eventually some barge is going to come up and want to take this, and we're stuck on it. Like, we can't be here.
Scrape us off of it or something.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to call the Tow US, because I made sure I got that insurance before we left, and I called Tow US, and I remember it was like almost midnight, and we called him. And he's like, it's going to take me an hour to get there. And I said, yeah, okay. And he goes, all right, well, I'll see you there. And he got out there at about 1:30, something like that. And he goes, all right. And he hooks us up, and I'm talking to him. He goes, where do you got to go? And we're like, you see that boat down there?
Yeah, that marina that's 1,000 feet away.
Yeah, it's just right down there. The look on his face was just, he was like, are you serious? If I remember right, I think I tipped him because I felt bad. But I was just like, I'm like, yeah, dude, like we're stuck in the middle of the channel.
What are we going to do? Yeah, it's not like we're going to get off.
The barges are the side, right? The barges are the side, and we're on the side of that. Like, like they're going to come by and clip us off. And so, yeah, I mean, he literally, it was, like you said, 1,000 feet or whatever. Just, it was, you could see it. If we would have done it better, we kind of probably floated a lot closer.
Maybe would have, yeah.
But yeah, he just, like, I think we got in that night at about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and we were just all crashed.
Yeah.
And I think we did a little bit of maintenance the next day.
Oh, yeah, we went on a parts search.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, well, but you had called ahead.
Yes.
And ordered some parts in.
Yep. Right. And we went, now was that, make sure I know here, did you guys go with me to get those parts? Yeah, I think Brian went with me, and we went down to the parts place, and we got the part that it was the impeller.
Impeller, right. Remember replacing the impeller though?
Oh gosh.
So you got you and me, who are not small guys.
No.
And neither of us can get both our arms down there to where we need to work. So I'm sitting down there with my left arm, and you're on the other side of the engine with your right arm, and we're doing this. And we made it like work. This. Exactly.
So I will tell you now, I've replaced those impellers at least a half a dozen times. Yeah. I can rip them out and put a new one in about an hour and a half now. Nice. I mean, but it is
practice makes perfect, John.
Whoever thought, yeah, let's just put it down here where nobody can get to it, thought that was a good idea. I hate you, because that is a maintenance part. It should be on the top and right there ready for you to go.
Exactly.
I mean, if you think about it, the water comes from the bottom. I get that, but it's putting it towards the top. So why not?
So why not put it? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, we went and got those parts, and then the next day we went to that restaurant that day too.
Yes. Oh, that was awesome.
That was a great restaurant.
Down near Bourbon Street.
Yeah, we did walk around Bourbon Street a little bit, didn't we?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember this. Yeah, I remember the smell. And and we went to that. I don't know if you know this or not, or you know what? I might not have texted you, but I've been back to that restaurant twice now.
Really?
Yes. And I have taken pictures of that scene.
I remember what it looked like. I do not remember the name of it at all.
I don't either. I couldn't tell you the name of it right now. I just know where it's at because it's on the corner, and you can.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been back there twice.
Right.
So yeah, so we ate, then we left the next day, and this didn't go very well, did it? We went all the way. We made it all the way past that NASA building and out the tide wall or the whatever they call that, right? And we made it a good 200 yards, and then we lost the other engine to this basically the same problem.
The same thing, yeah.
And I think that was day 8, I think, or day 7 or 7.5 or whatever. But I think at that point, I don't know if you know this, but I think Brian I think pulled me aside and he goes, "Yeah, I think Wes has had it." And I kind of looked at him and like, "Yeah, I think I've had it." I mean, it wasn't a bad trip, but it was just like these little things kept popping up all over the place.
I know. It was, it was so fun. And I mean, I felt like I had learned like a year's worth of stuff in 8 days, you know, about sailing and boatmanship and navigation and everything. And it was a fantastic trip.
Yes.
We didn't get as far as we wanted to, but I think we had as much fun as we possibly could cram into 8 days.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of how do I say it? So, I mean, yeah, there were some crappy parts to it, but I mean, if you push those aside, think about like how long. I mean, like I said, where that bridge was, that was a pivot bridge instead of a raised bridge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There were times there where we were just 3 guys sitting on a boat going 8 knots, just going, man, we are seeing everything. Like, this is nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was awesome.
I don't know. Let me ask you this. I don't know about you. I lost, I think it was 10 or 15 pounds.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Then I must have been eating your chicken sandwiches because
No, because the only thing I could think of is that, remember, we didn't eat like a lot. We just kind of snacked here and there.
Yeah.
It was like cheese and nuts and stuff like that. And then, you know, occasionally we had the chicken sandwiches, but it was just like these little things every now and then. But what I
I did. I don't remember though. I don't remember coming back and Shelly saying, "Oh wow, you look really trim and fit," you know?
Yeah, thanks, Shelly. But yeah, so what I had tested it to is the fact that if you think about it, we were sitting like this the whole time.
Oh, core! It was a core workout.
It was a core workout the whole time. I mean, like, because you don't even realize it, but you have to be like this the whole time.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So and at first I thought, oh, no. But the thing is I gained that weight back because we got back like Thanksgiving, and then I got back in the boat again on the 26th. So I had 2 big meals there, gained it all back. But when I came back and finally got it to Corpus Christi, I had lost those 10 pounds again. So it was pretty. There must have been something to that, like, core workout. So yeah, but hey, you know what? I mean, I'm gonna pour myself a little bit here, but at that note, I want to say to the viewers, thank you for stopping by and listening to the first half of this trip. I want to thank Wes for going with me on the first half of this trip. I know I feel like I stole eight days of your life, but
no, it was you enriched 8 days of my life.
You know what? I mean, we'll just I say that, and all I can think about is 8 days a week. So hey, on that note, sit back, relax, have a drink, and enjoy the ride. Wes and I did. We'll see you next week.
It was awesome. Thanks, John.
Anytime, sir.